Before start, press the bell icon so you never miss any videos. Excuse that weird noise. Still working on my mating call. It's supposed to sound majestic, but right now it's more teenager going through puberty. Listen up, future forest royalty. I'm what you'd call a Rocky Mountain Elk, though my friends just call me Your Majesty. Okay, they don't, but they're definitely thinking it. You try walking around with a 6-foot crown of antlers and not feeling a bit regal? Though between us, these things are kind of a pain during rush hour in the forest. Try squeezing through dense pine trees with what's basically a chandelier attached to your head. I came into this world during the early summer, in a hidden meadow that Mom swears had the best grass in the entire mountain range. I was about the size of a golden retriever, all legs and spots, looking like someone had spilled a bunch of white paint dots all over me. Those spots were supposedly camouflage, but I'm pretty sure I just looked like a walking connect-the-dots puzzle. My first hour alive was quite the show. Picture a baby giraffe trying to learn Irish dance. Mum kept encouraging me to stand up, probably holding back laughter as I wobbled around like a drunk butterfly. "You've got this, sweetie," she'd say, while I'm there trying to figure out which leg goes where. 4 legs seemed like 3 too many at the time. Who needs this many legs anyway? Spoiler alert, we do, especially when running from wolves. Growing up in the mountains is basically like attending an elite wilderness prep school. Your daily schedule includes essential courses such as Advanced Grass Identification 101, Running Away from Things That Want to Eat You 201, and everyone's favorite, How Not to Get Your Antlers Stuck in Trees 301. Still working on that last one, if I'm being honest. Speaking of antlers, let's talk about these bad boys. Every spring, I go through what I like to call my extreme makeover, ungulate edition. Imagine losing and regrowing part of your body every single year. It's like nature's version of a seasonal wardrobe change, except it weighs up to 40 pounds and occasionally gets stuck in branches. And the velvet phase? Picture walking around with fuzzy, blood-filled velvet covering your growing antlers. It's not my most photogenic time of year, let's put it that way. Diet-wise, I'm what you might call a professional grazer. I can put away up to 20 pounds of vegetation a day. That's right, I'm basically a walking lawnmower with better hair. Grasses, herbs, leaves, bark. If it's green and grows from the ground, it's probably on my menu. Though I have to say, some of these plants think they're real comedians. Ever tried to eat a thorny bush? It's like the plant equivalent of a joke with a painful punchline. Life in the herd is like being part of a very large, very mobile family reunion. The ladies stick together year-round, led by the eldest cow, who's basically the family matriarch. Think of her as the grandmother who knows everything, including where all the best food is and which shortcuts to take during migration. Meanwhile, US bulls spend most of the year hanging out in our bachelor groups, practicing our bugling and comparing antler sizes. Not that size matters, but mine are definitely the biggest. Then comes the rut, aka dating season in the elk world. This is when we bulls turn into the equivalent of teenage boys at a high school dance, except with more physical combat and dramatic vocalizations. My bugling technique has been described as haunting and majestic, though some critics, mostly other bulls, have called it show-offy and unnecessarily theatrical. Everyone's a critic. The whole ritual is quite something. First, you have to perfect your bugle. It's part mating call, part yodel, part car alarm. Then there's the posturing, which involves a lot of parallel walking with other bulls, kind of like a very slow, very tense fashion runway show. Finally, if neither backs down, you end up in a head-pushing contest that's basically sumo wrestling with antlers. All this to impress the ladies, who mostly seem interested in finding the best grass to eat while we're doing our thing. Migration is another interesting part of our lives. Twice a year, we pack up our invisible suitcases and trek between our summer and winter ranges. It's like having a summer home in the mountains and a winter condo in the valleys, except you have to walk the entire way and there's no room service. The whole herd moves together, following ancient paths that have been used by generations of elk before us. It's our version of a family road trip, complete with the "are we there yet" moments and occasional wrong turns. Winter brings its own challenges. The food situation gets a bit sparse. We go from being picky food critics in summer, "this grass is clearly from last Tuesday," to being grateful for any bark or twig we can find. It's like going from a 5-star restaurant to surviving on nature's rice cakes. But we've got some tricks up our sleeves. Or we would if we had sleeves. Our winter coat is thick enough to keep us warm in temperatures as low as 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Plus, those long legs come in handy when plowing through deep snow. One thing they don't tell you in elk school is how to deal with tourists. They're everywhere in summer, with their clicking cameras and tendency to get way too close for comfort. Listen, I know I'm photogenic. These antlers didn't grow themselves. Actually, they did. But personal space, people. And don't get me started on the selfie sticks. I've seen better defensive weapons in the antlers of yearling bulls. Being an elk means being part of something bigger than yourself. We're what they call a keystone species, which is a fancy way of saying we're kind of a big deal in the ecosystem. Our grazing helps maintain meadows, our trails help other animals navigate the mountains, and yes, occasionally we provide a meal for predators, though we try to avoid that part of our ecological role when possible. The secret to elk success? It's all about adaptation and attitude. Sure, we could complain about the wolves, the cold winters, or the fact that we have to walk everywhere, but instead, we choose to rock our role as mountain royalty. We've got the looks, the strength, and enough attitude to pull off wearing the same brown outfit every day of the year. So here's my advice to all the young elk out there. Stand tall, you've got the legs for it. Keep your head high, carefully. Those antlers are heavy, and remember that grace under pressure is just stumbling in style. Whether you're dodging wolves, impressing the ladies, or just trying to scratch an itch with hooves that don't quite reach, do it with dignity, or at least try to make it look intentional. P.S. And if anyone asks why you're eating the same thing every day, just tell them you're not a picky eater. You're a vegetation connoisseur. It's all about the branding. The end. Now excuse me while I go untangle my antlers from this tree branch. Again, if you enjoyed, don't forget to like and share this video, and subscribe this channel for more amazing videos.